What happens when a routine way of a legendary actor changes the whole world of a homeless man? A chance encounter that turned into something extraordinary. It's about the profound impact of kindness and what we can all learn from a single moment of compassion. It starts on an ordinary day. Tim Allen wasn't on set filming a movie or rehearsing for a show. He wasn't giving interviews or walking a red carpet. He was simply running errands. Just like any other person, he had errands to run and a plan for his day. That's the funny thing about life, though, isn't it? No matter how clear your schedule is, something completely unexpected can throw your day off course. And that's exactly what happened to Tim. There he was, driving through the bustling streets of Los Angeles. The air was filled with the sound of car horns, conversations, and the city's ceaseless hum. Everyone seemed to have somewhere to be. The sidewalks were lined with people moving quickly, barely glancing at their surroundings. That's what struck Tim the most as he glanced out of his window. No one was looking around. Everyone was inside their own bubble, detached from everything around them. That's when he saw him. The corner of a busy intersection. Amid all the movement and noise, a man stood silent, still, and almost invisible in his silence. He didn't call out. He didn't wave. He didn't walk after people, trying to get their attention. He only stood there, clutching a piece of cardboard. His hands held tight to a trembling sign that read two simple words, "Please help." But it wasn't the sign alone that caught Tim's attention. What truly struck him was the way the man stood. His head was bowed, completely hidden behind the sign. It was as if he didn't have the courage to face the world, as if life had beaten him down so badly he couldn't even look another person in the eye. This wasn't the usual desperation Tim had noticed before in similar situations. It was quieter, yet somehow far more heart-wrenching. Tim couldn't take his eyes off the man as his car rolled to a stop at the traffic light. He glanced at the people passing by. The way they avoided looking at the man, turning their heads or pretending they didn't notice him, made Tim's heart sink a little more. He thought to himself, how often do we walk past people like this? How often do we choose not to see? Tim's conscience tugged at him. He couldn't drive past, not this time. Not when every fiber of his being was telling him to stop. The light turned green, but Tim stayed put. Cars honked behind him, but he didn't care. He put his car in park, stepped out, and did something that no one else seemed willing to do. He walked toward the man. "Hey there," Tim said gently, his voice calm and steady, not wanting to startle him. The man didn't look up. His grip on the poster tightened. For a few moments there was only silence between them. Not the loud, uncomfortable kind, but the kind that makes you reflect, that slows everything down. Tim tried again. "Hey, I just want to talk to you. Can I help you?" Still the man didn't look up. But Tim noticed his hands trembling slightly more now. Whether out of fear, shame, or something else, Tim wasn't sure. "What's your name?" Tim asked softly. That question seemed to break through. Slowly, the man lowered the sign just enough for his face to peek out. And in that moment, Tim saw something he would never forget. The man's eyes were red, watery, full of pain, but also full of longing. Longing not for food or money, but for someone to see him, to truly see him. My name's David," the man whispered. His voice was shaky, barely audible over the noise of the street. Tim smiled, a warm, genuine smile. "David," he repeated. "It's good to meet you. My name's Tim." David's eyes widened slightly, recognizing Tim now. And you know what the first thing David said was? It wasn't about movies or fame. His voice cracked as he said, "Why are you stopping for me? Why me?" Tim knelt down so they were at the same eye level. "Why not you?" he replied. "I stopped because I saw you. And David, being seen is something everyone deserves." Those words hit David harder than anything else. He lowered the sign completely now, revealing a face etched with years of hardship, but also a flicker of hope. That was the first time someone had spoken to him like that in years. "What do you need, David?" Tim asked firmly, ready to help in any way he could. David hesitated, glancing at the ground. "I don't know. Everything? Nothing?" Just a chance, maybe? Tim nodded, and that's when Tim made a decision that would change David's life forever. He couldn't give David back all the years he had lost, but he could give him something else, something we all need, a starting point. Tim didn't reach for his wallet right away. He didn't hand David a stack of cash or toss him loose bills. Instead, he asked, "Are you hungry? Can I take you to get some food?" David nodded slowly, still in disbelief. No one had made an offer like that to him in years. To be treated like a human being felt foreign and unreal. Tim led David to a nearby diner. The two of them sat together, their conversation flowing as freely as if they were old friends. David shared his story, a story of heartbreak, loss, and bad luck spiraling out of control. Tim listened carefully, not interrupting, not judging, just listening. That day didn't end with just a meal. Tim promised to help David get back on his feet. He connected him with resources, from shelters to job programs, and provided emotional support that David had long been missing. Days turned to weeks, and what started as a moment of kindness grew into a life transformed. David isn't on the streets anymore. He now has a job, a home, and most importantly, a sense of dignity. And you know what's remarkable? He's taken Tim's act of kindness and paid it forward. He now volunteers at shelters, helping others rebuild their lives, just as he was helped. All of this, all of it, because one person stopped. One person refused to look away. One person paused their busy day to say, "I see you." That's the power of kindness, my friends. It's a ripple effect, a spark that can ignite change in ways you can't even imagine. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. How often do we pass people like David? How often do we choose not to see? Imagine the impact we could have if we all stopped, even for just a moment, to extend a hand, to listen, to care. You don't need to be famous to make a difference. You don't need to be rich. Each of us has the power to show kindness in our own way. And who knows, that one small act could change someone's world forever. Remember, kindness isn't just an action, it's a choice. And it's a choice we can all make.